Hello and welcome to a new episode of Culture Vultures with me, Al Thomson. I'm joined by one of my good friends and very funny stand-up comedian. It's Kirsty Lynch.
Hello!
Woo!
Thank you for having me.
No bother. How are you doing?
Aye, good. Aye, really good.
Excited?
I'm actually. I was listening to old tunes coming up in the car.
Aye. So we're here to talk about 90s rave.
90s rave.
Why 90s rave?
Why not? No, it's just, do you know, it's like, it was my kind of teen years growing up. So it was like, can I get into 90s rave and listening to it when you were going to what we called the Kirky discos.
Right.
So it was like, I remember I get grounded because my mum found out the ticket was for 14 to 17-year-olds.
What age were you at the time?
I was 11.
You were gone that early?
I was going that early. I was 11 and it was to the Kirky Stomp, we used to call it. And it was like in a kind of social club, kind of community centre in Kirtland, Newton, Renfrew. And it was like just all the music, all the tunes. We had the stripy trousers. I don't know if you remember stripy trousers. I don't know if you're too young.
I think.
Aye, but it was like black trousers, Benzini and red bums and all that kind of thing, and get a grips. And we all used to just stand and dance the same. And that was it. So it was like that was like a kind of rite of passage going to the Kirky disco, the Kirky Stomp.
What's get a grips?
Get a grips were like...
This is honestly, this could be
So-
2 hours long.
So there were shoes you used to get for shoe, right? You could
right.
only get them for shoe in Glasgow. And they were kind of like big rubber soles and the fronts of them came up. So they looked like worky boots,
Right.
but there were shoes. And that was it, gator grips and monkey boots as well. So monkey boots they had big thicker soles, and if you were dancing on the floor, they'd make big black marks on the floor. My mum used to go mental because I'd have a wee boogie on the lino and she'd be like, I can't get the black stuff off the floor. So that was like your kind of clothing of choice when you were when I was growing up anyway. So that was 1991 when I was 11.
I was 2.
Oh, well, that's how you don't remember it.
Aye. When I was growing up, it was Kappa button-ups.
Oh, that was my sister's.
Aye.
Aye, my sister was a Kappa tracking head.
Yeah.
So she was, used to have the gel in her hair and it was all flattened down, but no, I missed Kappa.
Aye.
I was like kind of naff and Paco cardigans. That's when we decided to wear colour.
Right.
Because everything else before that was black, red, black and white, stripies, kind of Nicholson jackets, all that kind of thing. It was mad. Loved it.
So what was the kind of scene like? I don't want it, like, you don't need to incriminate yourself or anything like that.
Well,
What was it kind of like? Like I've seen clips.
Aye.
Kind of growing up with
Like
vests and
Aye. So it was
Whistles
like whistles. It was whistles, light glow sticks,
aye.
kind of high vis vests. All the guys had
Right.
high vis vests on. Lassies, it was kind of ent and went, basically bikini tops. I was never a bikini top wearer. I've always been a larger lady. But bikini tops, big furry boots and things like that. But it was, I was a total crap bag. So I never ever, there was drugs on the scene, but I was a total, and I'm not just saying that because I was a pure shit bag. And at the time, I was in primary 7, I think Leah Betts had happened. So there was a young girl that took an ecstasy and died, and her mum and dad published the pictures in the front of the papers. And I was that much of a shit bag. I'm like, knowing my luck, that'll be me. So I'm just no doing it. So I never kind of took anything, but it did work. I definitely did work, but it was like hot, sweaty, everybody dancing about, everybody loving one another. It was just a kind of incredible scene, and it's like, it's one of those ones that you go to parties. Now, my wedding, for example, we had a kind of old school DJ that was doing our wedding, and we sat and we planned out what the songs would be like. And I was like, right, for this time to this time, we'll do like all your kind of party songs and all that kind of thing. After the buffet, rave, that's it.
Aye.
Half an hour in, I'm like, get the tunes on. And it was like, my wedding was a complete rave.
Oh, really?
It was mental, absolutely
your
mental.
wedding's meant to be like that. It's meant to be.
Aye, and
something
it
for
was it was just an amazing kind of party, and it's like folk still say that was one of the best
Oh, really?
Because it wasn't like my gran was like, oh my God, I'm leaving that doot music and all that kind of thing. But it was like when we had all our pals and stuff like that there. So it was like just going back to being, and that's the thing I love about it. It's like you play a tune now, and it's like we were at my pal's daughter's 18th birthday party, and it was like old school tunes come on, and it's all us that are up there.
Aye.
And the kids are just like, oh my God. Like, so it just takes you straight back. You know what I mean? It just doesn't age at all. So
Would you still listen to them now?
Aye, we still do. It's like me and my husband, if we've been on a night out and like somebody's got Emma, we'll sit at the kitchen table and it's like, right, your turn.
Aye.
Pick a tune. And it's like, you've just, in every tune, you've got to try and top the other one. It's like, oh, that was a belter, right? And we'll dance about the kitchen and all sorts. It's just, I love it. Absolutely love it. Because it makes you feel, like, because I always think, I'm 45 at Christmas. I always remember my grandpa saying to me, never feel older than 21. He says, and you'll walk by a shop window one day and go, who the fuck's that old bastard? And realise it's you. And I think that's like, we don't feel old. It's like my husband, for his 50th, he's like, I want to go to Tomorrowlands.
Oh, really?
I wants to go to Tomorrowlands for his 50th. And we used to take the piss at old folk when we went to these things. And I'm like, we are those people now. And it is like, you'll go to kind of old school nights and things like that, and you'll see like 70-year-olds, like,
oh, really?
with the whistles and the light sticks, and you're like, thank God there's just somebody older than me. It's mad.
Oh, that is class. I mean, is it kind of like, are you put off it though, like gone because you're older, or do you know, as you're older, you're just thinking, fuck it?
I think we're all like, just fuck it, because we went. So the Archies opened. So Archies was huge when we were growing up, and like when it kind of the early kind of rave scene and all that kind of thing, I was just doing it through under 18s and stuff like that, because I wasn't old enough to go to anything. So we used to go to like Unders and go to the Unders tunnel, go to the area and things like that in Paisley, and used to see like Ultrasonic, Rhythmic State, all amazing groups. So they'd travel round, and my pal, her and her brother were just like the most incredible dancers you've ever seen, like rave dancers. And she's 2 years older than me, and she can still pull a move. You know what I mean? It's like she goes to, her son's right into it. He's about 23, 24, and she'll go to raves with him, and he's like, she's just getting too much energy, so much more than us. But it's like you go to things, and it's like you're going with your pals' kids and stuff like that, because they all grew up with us listening to it, so they're kind of into it and things like that as well. But I did go to the Archies. Archies opened for a gig on I think it was the 23rd of December, just like kind of Christmas there, and I went into the toilet, and I'm like, the toilets have all been done up. It's not the same, because you used to sit in the toilet and it would be like drips coming off the pipes, like condensation off the roof just falling on you. And I'm like, well, it's a bit posh, right? And then it was like, I went into the toilet later on, there's all these young lassies, it must have been 18, and they're like, oh my God, you're an OG. And I'm like, fuck off. And it's like, let the OG go to the toilet. Let the OG go. And I'm like, what? My fucking bladder's still as good as yours then, right? My child came out of sunroof. I'm still working down there. But it was just like, they're like that. Oh my God, an OG. It was like, fucking hell.
OG. I mean, you know what OG really means, eh? Oh, yeah.
Oh, granny. But no, do you know the worst thing about it? Was the drink price. That was everything else was great, right? But the price of drink, I'm like, fuck it, we were £150 for a round. Like, and there was 4 days. And I'm like, hold on a minute. I'm like, how are these kids fucking affording that? So it was like 100, we get like two drinks, £150 a round. And I'm just like, that's a fucking disgrace. And when we came out, it was like, all we kept going on about. That's how you know we're old, because we're like, the price of drink in there was fucking shocking.
No wonder they took stuff. You know what I mean? You're forcing me.
Oh, I know. But there was this guy in the queue. He played an absolute blinder. Because the queue was massive and you'd been waiting ages, right? And you've been dancing about and you're like, fuck, I can't move the way I used to. And in your head, you can, right? But when you're like, no, I can't. I quite clearly can't. There was this guy standing in front of the queue and he's trying to tap his card. He's like, oh, my card's not working, card's not working, card's not working. And he kept trying it and trying it and trying it. And then some queue behind him was like, here, mate, fuck it, right, it's Christmas, there you go, I'll get your drinks, fuck off, right?
no.
And that's what he was doing. It was like his card had no money on it, and he was just going up to the front of the queue and holding the queue back. And I'm like, that's quite smart, actually. I'm like, that's initiative. So, aye.
That happened to me once. This has brought a flashback, right? Like, I didn't go to many raves, I didn't like that. I've been to Ibiza, and I went to a Tiesto gig.
Yes.
And I went up to the bar, and I was getting paid on the Friday. This was like a Thursday night, so it just went into Friday morning at 12:20, and I thought, right, I'll have money. And I went, put my card in, and I had no money. And I was saying, I've got no money. Like I'll need to come back later. And I said, no, just come through the back. And they took me through the back, and there was two of the biggest guys you've ever seen in your life just storing. And like, pay. I'm like, 2 seconds. But please, and I just ran out to my pal and I'm like, please, I need 40 euros for 2 absinthe. But it gave me, and I went through, but honestly, it was the scariest thing I've ever experienced in my life.
Aye, that's the thing, because we used to, like, we went to, so I was 17 the first time I went to Ibiza, because I was the youngest in the year, so we left school, I stayed on to 6 years, so I left school in 1997, but I was still 17 because I wasn't 18 until to the turn of the year. So that's how folk will say to me, what year was that? And I'm like, right, what age was that? I was 16, right? Okay, so that was 1996. They're like, how do you do that? And I'm like, because I just go by the age I was. Do you know what I mean? So it was 1997 and I was 17. And
you want a drink?
I'm all right.
I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine. And it was like 16s going. So it was a mixed crowd, boys and girls. The oldest was 20, no, the oldest was 19, and we went into, there was like 20, 16, 18 years, went into 18 Mays and Renfrew, because you had to go into a travel agent to book a holiday. And it's like, right, we're all going to meet at 2 o'clock on a Saturday, we're all going to go down, everybody's get their deposit, everything's fine. And I was like, my mum, I'm going to book Ibiza, and she went, are you fuck? And I'm like, I am. I've done my exams, I'm an adult now, I'm going to college, I'm going to Ibiza with all my pals. And she went, you book it, and you're on your own. And I went, that's fine. I was working in Safeway, the supermarket, and I'm like, that's fine, I'll do double shifts, I'll be all right. And we went into the travel agents, and my mum knew fine well that you had to be 18 to book it, or you had to get parental consent. What she didn't bank on was my pal was 19 and she could sign for me. So my pal signed my parental consent form for me to go to Ibiza. And I went to Ibiza when I was 17.
19 has got a 17-year-old.
Aye. She was an adult. It's Renfrew. Aye. She was an adult, and then she signed for me, and I got to go to Ibiza, and it was just mental, absolutely mental.
So what were the clubs there then at that time?
It was like so Manumission, Pasha. We stayed in San Antonio Bay, which was a wee bit quieter, so you'd like the kind of San Antonio Bay clubs and stuff like that, and it was just because we went an all day foam party, and like my pal nearly drowned in the foam, which was a bit mad. She was tiny, we were all having to huckle her out. But we went to Manumission, and that was like you had to get a taxi to the Manumission because it was out in the middle of nowhere, and it was just like you're sitting in this taxi going, oh my god, can't believe I'm going to do this. And went in, and I'd heard all sorts of stories. Like there was the couple that owned it used to do a live sex show, a live sex performance, right? So we'd all like rabbits in the headlights, because I'm like, oh, I've never been out Renfrew before. And so a couple of the guys were the year above us. They all had like mad names like Budgie, Binksy, this kind of thing, right? And like we're all dimmy as well. They were all quite dim.
I used to hang out with a guy that was called Eki.
Eki.
But just because his name was Eric, and then I think when we got older,
You realise what it was?
and then there was another guy called BJ, and then he changed his name quickly to Beige when he got
Beige.
older.
Beige.
Yeah,
You don't want to be called BJ.
No.
Oh, BJ, you any good? So we're all in this club, and we walked in, and one of the songs I sent you, Brain Bug.
Yeah, right.
Right. I walked in, and my husband would be like, oh my God, this fucking story, right? Because it was just walking into this nightclub. It was dark outside. It didn't look like anything, and then you just walked in, and all you could hear was the music, and it was just like overwhelming, the size of this place. You could go down wee kind of corridors, you could go around everywhere. There was a fucking pool in the middle of it.
Yes, that's
Aye, right? And I was just like, fucking, and it was Brain Bug that was playing, and I'm like,
I'm picturing that in my head because I've heard the song.
Aye.
This is perfect now.
And it was just like you walk in and you're like, holy fuck, this is amazing. And it was just like a sensory overload. So we're dancing about, everything was brilliant. You're going to the toilets, you're meeting drag queens, you're meeting all sorts of different people, and it was just like, wow, this is amazing. And then me and Budgie were standing at the side of the pool, and I'm like, ooh, right, have you heard about this sex show? And he's going, aye. I says, right, I wonder when that starts, right? So of course him and I are looking about, and we're like, oh, this must be it, right? And there's this couple shacking in the pool, and we're going, oh, I says, I feel terrible, should I be watching this? And he's going, oh, well, they do it quite clearly. I mean, it's a show. So we're going, aye, no bother. And then the next thing, the lights go out, and we're like, oh, I wonder if he enjoyed himself. And the next thing, this big bed gets rolled out onto this big bridge, and I'm going, oh, that's the sex
So
show.
they were just two.
It was just a couple shagging. I'm like, I'm really sorry. You were doing very well. And I'm like, and it was the two of us. I'm like, oh my God, spot the pure wains that I've not got out of the house. I'm like, sorry, you're doing great job, keep going. You know what I mean? It was just mad.
So was there actually a sex show?
Aye, there was actually a sex show. So it was the couple that owned the place, apparently, right? And that was the sex show, and there was there was that. Oh my God, fuck, I forgot about that. There was a big guy that had the biggest willy you've ever seen in your life, and he was stripping on, and he was like guinea sell BJs and all sorts on the stage. I mean, it was mental, absolutely mental. And I'm like, I didn't know I'd been out the house. I was like, holy shit. And then there was these big curtains, and so because it was obviously dead dark, and now I don't know, it must have been about 4 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. And I'll never forget, I had this wee kind of red dress on and these wee white patent shoes, and I'm thinking, I'm loving life, I'm dead great. And one of my pals was like, got up in the speaker. And I'm like, aye. So I'm up dancing in this speaker, and the next thing, the curtains just opened. It was like the sun was coming up, and I'm dancing on this speaker, watching the sun coming up, just raving away, and I'm like, this is just unbelievable. It was amazing. It was amazing. And then we got in a taxi and we went to space after. And it was just, we're sitting in hammocks till 2 o'clock in the afternoon going, fucking, what, this is the life. It was just unbelievable. It was just such an experience. But even now, it's things like that with 90s rave, that it's the memories, it's like a place, it's a feeling. It's like when you hear the piano going to kick in and then the beat kicking in, it's just like it kind of, it creates it's an emotional reaction. It's like a connection. And it's a memory, and it's like a friend, it's like somebody you've lost, it's like, it's just all that, and it just takes you back to a place where nothing mattered. You had no responsibility, and I think that's why, like, there's these old people's clubs, but they're now doing like day raves and things like that, where you go at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, you're done by 10. You're home in your bed for 10 o'clock, and I'm like, and it's so popular because everybody's coming out the other side of having kids, having that responsibility. Kids are getting older and all that kind of thing, but you can't be arsed going to a nightclub. You can't be arsed going and been out to like 3 o'clock in the morning. You can't be arsed walking through Glasgow. We used to walk through Glasgow for miles to get a taxi after the Archies. Do you know what I mean? And it was just like, you done it. Whereas now I'm like, I'm a fuck. I'll go to a day rave. And that's what you do. It's just, but it takes you back to a place that, like, just that kind of emotion and everything outside. It's just unreal. I love it.
I'm honestly ready to agree.
Oh.
Honestly, that's amazing. Aye. You've painted some picture.
But it is. It's like, I mean, my it's dead funny, right? So, like, Mikey Motion, right? He was a DJ, big DJ, like, travelled. I mean, the places he's been with his music and stuff like that is incredible. And, like, my pal's son, who, like, obviously, she had him when we were 19. So I've been in his life since he's been a baby. This is the one that goes to the raves and all that kind of thing. So when I started doing comedy, he's like, do you know Mikey Motion? And I'm like, I do. And he's like, oh my God, that's amazing and all that kind of thing. And it was like Debbie went to my pal, who's fucking as mad as a box of frogs, went to like a big kind of dance thing at Inglestown, right? And one of her pals is like, oh, I'm going to introduce you to my pal. This is Mikey. And he's like, and she says, oh, he does comedy. And she's like, my pal does comedy. And he's like, oh, really? Aye. Who's your pal? And she says, Kirsty Lynch. And he's like, oh my God, Kirsty, aye, I know her. And she's like, see the joke she tells about the necrophilia? That's me. Mikey's like, oh, aye. And he's like, but it's just that kind of like everybody knows somebody and all that kind of thing. And you can. It's like, I'll be at things and I'll say, oh, do you mind? I remember I was here. I was there. You know, but you never seen each other. But that was what it was like, because, like, I mean, we sit and there's like, because if there was a resurrection and all that kind of thing, there was always somebody with a video camera. And it was like the res crew and all that kind of thing. And it's like, I'll watch, there's clips that will come up on Facebook because somebody's put it on. And it's like, me and my husband are sitting and he's like, oh, fuck, I was there. And then you'll scan it, and then it's like, right, kind of 98 minutes in, you'll see us, and it's like just a clip of young, like, people that you know that were like 16, 17 at that kind of age. It's probably, and you're just watching it going, oh my God. And it was like, my daughter will come and say, oh, what's that? And he's like, no, because he doesn't know. Because we were like, he was 16, do you know what I mean? Going to these kind of things, and we were like that. No, you can't walk to the bus stop yourself. You know what I mean? It was just different times. Different times.
Well, Mikey might not be happy with you anymore, because when I put up the thing saying who wants to come on and do, he picked 90s rave as well.
Did he?
You get in about 5 minutes before him.
Oh, no way. Oh, but he would have been so much better than me. Well, because he was there, he was living it, he was doing it, he was like. And we were me and my husband were on holiday, and he was doing these videos of the crooner. I don't know if you've seen it. Crooner, right? And I'm just like, I was messaging him for Turkey going, oh my God, that's amazing. I love it. And it's just, I just think he's incredible. And to have that life, he could probably tell you so much more of the other side of it, whereas I was the one that was standing in the crowd going, oh my God, this is amazing. So, I
suppose he could come on and do...
He could do a different side of it.
What of an age is...
See, I think Mikey's a lot younger. I think he must be about 10 years younger than me. So, I think because, like, Jay knows him as a DJ. So, and Jay's like 20, 23, 24 kind of thing. So, I think I was probably getting into being a mum when he was probably getting out and taking off and stuff like that. So in terms of that, I think we kind of missed each other. But that just shows you that scene has existed throughout the kind of test of time. Do you know what I mean? And it's like now you've got 18 and 19-year-olds going to these kind of things and loving the same music. I mean, I don't know how many times me and Emma are in the car, and I'm like, oh, that was a banging tune. It's sampling something that, and you're going, and I'm like, I remember the original of this. And I always remember my dad saying that to me, that was an original song, and you're like, no, it was the. And now I'm like, oh my God, I've turned into my parents, because I'm going, see that's sampled, that was all for this. And she's going, And she always takes the piss out of me because I'm like, I love this tune. This is a banger. This is one of my favourite tunes. She's like, you say that about everything. But that's the thing about that music. There was just one after another. I had that on the car up this, and I'm like, oh my God, I must remember to say that one. Must remember. And it was like, I'm like, oh, just banger after banger after banger.
So wait, is it, because this scene is just kind of, I'm more into kind of metal and stuff like that. So I've got my favourite bands and stuff like that. Would you have favourite? Was it tunes? Or?
It was more. I think it was more like tunes. So like, Obsession was one that was like, and it was what was her name? Was it Mary Canny that sang that? I can't remember. But it was like, so Ultrasonic for me, because they were Scottish, and you could travel and see them, because the thing about it was that you were relying on people recording tapes, right? So it was like all on tapes. So somebody would come into school, or somebody would get, like, my pal was going to be a guy, he had a pal, and it was like, this tape used to get passed about. So like for Christmas, my uncle worked for like a, was it BASF or something like that, BSF, and it was like, so I used to say to him, going to just get me blank cassette tapes for Christmas, right? And that's what I used to get, because this tape would get passed about and you had to take it, record it, and then pass it on to somebody else. So that was how the music kind of travelled about, because you weren't hearing it on mainstream radio. I mean, you watch some old Top of the Pops, and occasionally there's like a kind of trance band or something on there.
Or something.
But it was never that kind of mainstream. So it was like somebody somewhere had recorded a set, and then that, like, and it's like, this is for Ayrshire. You're like, oh, I've never even been there. You know, and these tapes were getting kind of passed about, and it was like all the kind of pirate radio and stuff like that as well. So we used to, oh God, my mum will kill me, don't listen to this, mum. But you would, the stupid things you done. So you could only hear it if you went to the car park in the Sky, which was the Breeze at Paisley. So you could only get the pirate radio in certain points, right? So we were too young to drive. So 9 times out of 10, you'd jump in an older guy's car, like an older boy's car, and go to the car park in the Sky so that you could sit and listen to the music. And there was hundreds of different cars up there and all that kind of thing. But the thing was, you picked the wrong guy, and then it would be like, they'd take you up, listen to the music, and then it would be like, cock it or walk it. And you'd be like, fuck it, I'm walking it. So that's the amount of times that it would be like, you would come back down and there's girls walking down on this road because they're like, I'm a hell. And that was the thing, because it was just mental. That was it, cock it or walk it. Never cocked it, always walked it. But then they'd feel dead bad, and they'd be like, because they were chancing their arm most of the time. And it would be like, right, just get in the fucking car. And I'm like, no, I'm not getting in the fucking car. But you would never go yourself. You would always make sure there was 3 or 4 of you. But that was, that was what it was like.
That's making me feel a bit sick.
But it was just stupid boys. Know that it's like, I don't mean stupid boys, but
I know what you mean.
It was just wee arseholes, do you know what I mean? And they knew nothing was ever going to happen, but they did. It was on the odd occasion. I think they'd have shat themselves if somebody said, aye, all right then, because they wouldn't know what to do with it.
So that's kind of a good kind of segue, I suppose, and a kind of bad kind of topic, but as a woman in comedy, how is it?
Do you know, I was thinking about this, and because obviously there's loads kind of, you know, about the now, and, you know, like we kind of balance a lineup, diversity a lineup, and all that kind of thing. And, you know, I have to say, the majority of gigs I've been to, everybody's been great. So, like, we had a gig last Thursday, right? And it was all guys that were on the bill. and we had a pure laugh, right? And I feel, I don't know if it's just because I'm a bit older and I don't know, don't mean this in the back, but I don't give a fuck, right? And I don't care what people think and I don't care what people say about me. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm just past it now.
Yeah.
I'm at a certain age where I'm like, I've done all that worrying about what people think about you and all that kind of stuff and overthinking. And I'm just like, I just don't want to waste the time on it. I'm like, I'll let my comedy do the talking for me. You like it, you like it. You don't, you don't. You don't like me, then that's fine. You don't book me, that's fine. There has maybe been 2 or 3 occasions where you've walked into a green room or you've walked into like a kind of area that's, you know, allocated for the comics, and there's guys there and it's all high-fiving and boys club and all that kind of thing, and they just fucking ignore you. So I've had that maybe about 3 times. So I've been doing it 2 years this month, and I've had that 3 times in the whole time I've been doing it. And I've actually had a guy that was hosting walk into a gig. I was standing talking to all the guys, and he walked by me, shook everybody's hand, and just fucking ignored me. And I'm like, and I thought maybe he doesn't know I'm a comic. Maybe he doesn't know that I'm one of them. And then later on, I heard them say, "Aye, that's one of the comics over there." And I thought, well, clearly you do. So, but I think knowing that person now, I think if I was to say something, I think he'd be mortified. I don't think it was kind of deliberate or anything, but it was just that, like, I'm coming in, I'm the hope, you know, and it was. So I think there can be some gigs where it's like you almost feel you've either got to inject yourself into the conversation because it's like they're all talking and it's like, oh, you know, and nobody brings you into it. So I'm the type of person that I'll just go, so how's everybody doing? And I'll just do it. And I think for some people that maybe aren't as confident in themselves or are newer, that must, I think in some occasions it must be quite intimidating. But for me, I don't know, I can't say I've had too many bad experiences, but there has been the odd occasion where you feel quite like kind of excluded, and as if you've got to force yourself into a discussion, and then you feel as if like you'll say something, it's just like, you know, but it doesn't, for me, my experience, it's not happened often. But I do think like there's like, you know, I think there's plenty of, for that, there's what, 250 times that it's been an absolute blast. So I can only comment on what my experience has been. But I do think that there's things in place, you know, that if people do feel uncomfortable, there's places to go. And I think the comedy, you know, I think there are, you know, networks and things like that where people could go and could report things, but I've just never been in a position or had to. So, but yeah, I think that nobody should be made to feel uncomfortable. But I imagine there's probably similar situations where guys have had that experience where they've walked in, they've maybe been newer and maybe felt a bit kind of, you know, excluded. So I can't call. I can only say what it's been like for me.
I mean, it's just because it's kind of come up like very recently, and it'll probably come up again in another.
I mean, there are times where I'll maybe look at a lineup and I'll go, "Is all guys on that?" Do you know what I mean? But I don't know if it's because of everything. It's there is a light being shone on it now that I think, are you maybe just more alert to it or more aware of it?
Yeah.
But I do think that there's plenty of guys out there that will, like, you know, book kind of females, and I think that it's trying to book it's trying to book diverse kind of lineups, because that diversity brings, I think, a better quality, because there's people that with comedy you could be sitting watching something and you go, that wasn't really for me. But then the next person that comes on is absolutely like, that's somebody you can relate to and you can get. So the more diverse you have, that you're bound to have everybody in the audience will have somebody that they can kind of relate to.
I've never been on Tinder, so there's a few.
Oh, I've never been on Tinder. No.
1,000 jokes we don't get. Then,
I know. I'm like, I couldn't be arsed with that. I'm like, pigeon dating. That's what we used to do. Send a pigeon.
I had obviously I got my own gig that's might be finishing very well.
Oh, right, okay.
And this month, I think it's the first month in about 6 or 7 that there wasn't any women on it.
Aye.
And I felt rotten.
Aye.
And it's like, I always try. Like, I put it out there, and if whoever wants the gig can have that kind of thing. I think you've done it twice, haven't you?
Yeah, I've done it twice, aye.
And then I just had that crisis. I was messaging Gail, what am I going to do? Like, I want, obviously, to have women, and I want to make it kind of like a kind of safe place for them and stuff like that, as with everybody, to be honest with you. But just the way it's gone through, I don't think it's worked, that gig specifically.
Right, okay.
It's kind of working for that kind of thing. There's always kind of wee comments and stuff kind of made. Like I said, like there's been that's been my opening thing, there's a big thing they're doing comedy about no booking any women and stuff. And like for the first time in about 8 months, I've not got any women, and somebody for the crowd says that it's because it's a comedy show.
Aye.
All that kind of shit.
I mean, that's the thing. It's funny because I done a show at the Fringe, and somebody in my team like was bringing her husband, right? And I think, and it was quite funny actually, but he was like, you better be fucking funny because I'm supposed to be going to watch football and I'm not going to watch football, I'm coming to watch you, right? But the thing is, I think that, like, I do probably suspect there was a few men there under duress going, oh fuck, I've got to go and see this female comic, which is going to be like. But I think that when they go, it's like, oh my God, because he nearly fell off his chair, and that's, his wife's like, oh, remember that he keeps pulling one-liners out that I've said, and he's like, oh right, you know, the beaded curtain and all that kind of thing, and she's like, oh, you know, but I think that there is probably a generation of people that think, oh, women can't be funny, and it's like, I've had it at gigs, like, no other acts, but I done a gig once and there was a guy sitting in the front, and he was a pain in the arse to everybody, to be fair, right? And he's like, are you a comic? Like, at the break time, I says, aye. And he's like, when you on? And I'm like, I'm on after the break. And he's like, right, okay, right. And he sat there with his arms folded for about the first, like, 3 minutes. And then he was knotting himself, right? And at the end of the show, he came up and he's like, oh my God, I didn't want to like you, but I really liked you. And I'm like, do you know what? I'd rather you fucking didn't like me. I was like, because you're a pure dick. And he's like, I says, I'm not giving you permission to like me. And he's like, oh. Do you know what I mean? But you do get that. You'll get guys going, oh, women aren't funny and stuff like that. But I think, again, that's where I'm like, just go on, do your thing. And like, I not even just with comedy, but like, I mean, I don't know if I've got a thicker skin because I was one of the first female managers football managers in Scotland.
Were you?
Aye. So I was the only first female in the Scottish kind of league. And like, so it was like the P&D league, so it was like under 16s, under 18s and things like that before it went to junior. So I went to college and I done sports coaching, done football coaching, got my kind of up to my B licence with the SFA. Couldn't get my E licence because you're not a professional. But I was like going through my coaching certificates with the likes of Donnie McKinnon and like Tommy Burns and all that kind of thing, and like all the, because we were going and doing it. So I was only like 17 when I was doing all my coaching certificates and things like that. Doing it with, Tommy Coyne and all that kind of thing down at Fergusley Park. So I was doing all my coaching certificates the same time as them. What was his name? The old St Mirren manager. What was his name? Oh, it'll come to me. That's another thing with menopause, you forget things. He was wee.
Danny.
With dark hair. No. 90s, kind of into the 2000s. Tony Fitzpatrick.
Right,
aye.
Is that not the guy that owns them now?
Oh, no. I don't think he owns them now.
Fitzpatrick?
I don't know if he owns them now. It's Kibble that part own it now, which is aye. So, but I was doing it with all them, right? Because they were being forced, because you didn't need a coaching certificate up to that point, right? So, I was coaching for like St Mirren Unders and things like that. I was coaching girls football, which was so much more difficult to coach than boys. Boys were a lot easier because they'd just fight it out, argue, and then go on with it. But then it's like, I'm not passing the ball to you because you're a cow. You know, my sister will kill me for that because I used to coach her team. But like so I coached. I was coaching, and there was somebody I worked with in Safeway had asked me, "Will you come and help me coach this team because I need somebody that's got a coaching certificate to start the team?" And I'm like, "I no bother." So I rock up on this Sunday to do the training at the KG5s, and the fucking guy doesn't show, and all these young boys. So they were maybe about three years younger than me, but at that age I was 17, they were 15, right? 14, 15. So to me, that was like a big age gap.
Yeah.
And they're all like, "What are we doing?" And I'm like, "Well, he's no turned up." And they're like, I'm like, "Right, see ya, I'm away." And I don't know, like my sister laughs at this story because like she fancied half of them, and the front door went, and she went to the door, and she's like, there's like 18 boys that she went to school with, like that she fancied, and she's like, they're like, "Is your sister in?" And she's like, ugh. She came up the stairs and she went, "There's like all these boys at the front door." And I was like, "Right." And I went downstairs, and they're like, "Will you coach us?" And I'm like, "Right, I'll coach you for 6 weeks. You toe the line, you don't take a piss," I says, "and then if we can do it, we'll do it." So coached them for 6 weeks. They were absolutely brilliant. So we called it Inchley Football Club. We get the local chippy to sponsor us. So we get the chippy to sponsor our shirts, so we get kits, everything. Used to train them in the KG5s, and then I applied to the Paisley District League, which was one of the most difficult leagues in Scotland. And I went in, so you had to go to like a meeting. So it was like you went in. So I went in with this. I was like, "I'm going in a trouser suit." So I was 17 with like a wee navy suit jacket, a white top, and navy trousers. And you had to sit, and it was in this like old Babcock social club. Like the windows were panned in. It was like a shithole. The smoke coming out the window, everything, right? And you went in, and it was just all these old men, like chairmen, like folk that had founded football clubs and all this. They're all sitting, drinking their pints and smoking their fags. So there was about 70 sitting, and it was all guys, older guys, and you had to walk in. And there was a big long table, and it was like all the kind of leaders of the league are there, and all the other clubs are sitting behind you, and you had to go in and pitch why you think your team should get into the league, right? So they're like, Paisley District League is one of the hardest leagues to get into. Why do you think you should get your team in? You know, this kind of, and you're standing, and I'm like, and I just turned and eventually that. And why should we let a female in? I says, "Well, how many SFA coaching certificates have you got?" And they're like, "I don't think that was a question." I says, "No, but," I says, "well, I've got," I said, "so I'm actually probably, no disrespect, more qualified than everybody in this fucking room to do this." And my dad's like, "That's it, you fucked it. You fucked it." And I was like, so then it was like, "Right, thanks very much, Miss McKinnon." And I was like, "Thank you." And I walked out, and I thought, "Oh, fucked it. And everybody was coming in. But then if you got in, like there was 3 teams getting in, and 2 never came back. So we were like, oh, well, quite clearly they fucking 2 are in, right? And they came out, and they were like, "Right, we've decided." So when they decided you get in the room and the other folk get papped away, and we get in the league and we get in the rooms and we got to like got really kind of quite high up in the Scottish Cup in the first season. The boys were amazing. They nearly got me the jail because there was one Sunday I was training and I'm like, we need new nets. So I'm trying to raise funds and stuff like that. And then the next Sunday they appeared. This week, guys like, Kirsty, it's all right, my dad get his nets. And I'm like, fucking amazing, right? So I'm like, get your nets up. So they're playing, and then the next thing is the police appear, and they're like, where'd you get the nets? And I'm like, honestly, you wouldn't believe it. I says, we Colin's dad get the nets. I says, donated them to the club, and they're like that. And they went up, and they're like, the nets were stolen for this park yesterday. And I'm like, you fucking idiots, you never even stole them for a different fucking park. And they're all like that. And I was like, right, run. And I'm like, just run. And the police are like that. But wait, I says, take a net. I says, but they were like, well, we need to know who it was. I says, well, they'll fucking run until they tell you. And that was it. It was like, that was the only time I get booked by the police for stealing football nets that I never done. So I think because I've been through that where you'd go on a park and like the manager would not shake your hand. I had an assistant manager that was a guy, and they would walk up and shake his hand, shake my captain's hand, and no shake my hand. And I'm like, is that fucking right? So then my team would pump them, and then at the end of the game, I'm like, good game, fuck off, you wank. But that was it. Do you know what I mean? So I'm used to being in a male-dominated environment. I've worked in the media industry where you're working with it's male-dominated, like, you know what I mean? And you're having to deal with editors that are like, I know better, you know. So I've worked in those kind of environments. So I think I've developed quite thick skin to it. I won't put up with any shite, but I think because I've had that since I've been 17. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like trying to make it in what was deemed a man's world. For me, I'm like, this isn't. I'm coming across more females than I did in previous careers, but I think because my journey's been different, so I think that's maybe why it's like a counselling session. Yes, that's maybe why I'm not as affected. But I think it's just. But that's always been my thing. Let your work do the talking. Do you know what I mean? Because if you go and you smack, nobody can argue with that. Aye. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's times I've been like, oh fuck, that was the wrong thing to do. But and then I'm like, I'm so sorry. But yeah, but I mean, there's like promoters I'll speak to, and they're like that. I want to book females, but like I said, no, I'm not getting the applications, or you know, like if I book you, I can't book you for another year at that venue because it's like I've got my regulars and stuff like that. Yeah. And I can understand that and I get that. But I think that you know, there are ones that are really committed to it, and there's maybe some that aren't as much or aren't as conscious of it. So
well that's the thing as well. We just kind of book their pals. But you mentioned somebody there and my eyes lit up. I don't know if you'd noticed. Yeah. Tommy Coyne,
aye.
Well, I'm a massive Malone fan. It was my wife's first kind of favourite player. Right. Was Tommy Coyne. Yes. Did you have any kind of run-ins?
I well. So my gran and grandpa, this is a story. So my gran and grandpa stayed in Florida when I was growing up, and we were really lucky. And the American World Cup was in Florida. Yeah. I think it was 1994, right? And my grandpa was like, he was a pure character, right? So he would get a piece of MD's door, right? And he was a chancer, and he was he was like my idol. I absolutely loved him. And my grandpa was working for a football club out there called Orlando Lions. Right. So he was coaching. So he used to coach my sister's football team, and he was out there and he was coaching Orlando Lions, or like, so they used to call him Pappy. That was what he was called, Pappy. And so he was doing Orlando, and I remember going to watch Orlando Lions when I was out there, and it was like soccer, and it was just taking off. Yeah. And the next thing was the World Cup was on, and my gran and grandpa, the Ireland football team, are there, and my gran and grandpa end up fucking walking out the tunnel with like Jackie Charlton, Tommy Coyne, Paddy Bonner, all that kind of thing. They had managed. My grandpa had managed to get them a job as the kit man and woman for the fucking Irish football team.
What?
So my gran and grandpa, I think they were at Tommy Coyne's wedding or second wedding if he's married twice. My gran and grandpa were at Tommy Coyne's mum's funeral. So my grandpa, and this is what I've been meaning about my grandpa. My grandpa just knew everybody. Tommy Coyne was great. So when I did my work experience at BBC Radio Sport, and I was lucky enough to go out and Alex McLeish was the manager at Motherwell at the time, and I think Tommy Coyne was playing with Motherwell, and I got to do a dummy interview on him. I got to do a dummy interview on Craig Brown, who was the Scotland manager at the time, and Tommy Burns when he was at Celtic. Aye. Amazing. So it was amazing. Aye. So Tommy Coyne's lovely guy.
What a life you've lived, by the way.
Do you know, and that's the thing, I'm very lucky. And it's funny because Amanda Hursey always said, we were in Manchester last year, and she's like, this person, I'm like, aye, well, do. So, and she's like, fucking hell, she says, there's a show in that where you should just get the audience to name people, and you're like, well, actually, because like it's like my grandpa, he worked for a racing car, a NASCAR company out in Team Green, it was called, and he was Jason Priestley out at Beverly Hills 90210's physio. Never been a fucking physio in his life. But he was the physio for the fucking drivers. And he used to come home and it was like Tiger Balm, right? And he brought Tiger Balm. There was X1R, which was a thing you would put in your engine that would make it last longer, and Tiger Balm. And we're all at fucking wacky shit. And now everybody's using Tiger Balm. I'm like, fucking, he knew. He was like the oracle. So I have been very lucky.
But I mean, it's not been handed to you. Like you've worked for it.
And that's the thing, because I think that's it's like funny because my job now, I work with young people, and I'm like, don't ever let anybody tell you can't do something. Like, so I was told at school, my report card, she'll make a great secretary. She's getting in secretarial studies. And I'm a fuck being a secretary. I was never going to work in an office. No, I'm like, well, that didn't work. But it's like, I think that for me, it's always just do your best, work hard, and see where it can take you. And that's the same attitude I've had getting into comedy. I'm like, I have no expectations. I'm not getting into it going, right, I want to be selling out anywhere. I'm like, this is something I wanted to try. I wanted to tick it off my bucket list, because I'm a great believer in, don't be on your deathbed going, oh, fuck, I wish I tried that. I'd rather regret something I'd done than something I've never done, and go, oh, I wish I'd done that. So I might lie in my deathbed and go, fucking really shouldn't have done that. But at least I tried it. And that was what it was with comedy. Just try it, see what happens. And yeah, it's been going not too bad.
Aye, going very well. Well, that's what we're up.
Well, thank you. That was a very easy hour.
That really was. I don't think I've said a word.
Oh, fuck. It's me. Well, my report card did constantly say talk too much, so I just play to my strengths, Al. Fucking find what you're good at.
Exactly.
And accelerate.
Exactly. Well, thanks very much
No,
for
thank
coming
you.
in. And thanks for joining us on another episode of Culture Vultures. Cheers.
Thank you.